Hey team, so today we're going to create a notification and flick an email to the project owner when someone creates a new question, just so they can get onto that straight away. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump in. Okay, so to begin, we need to jump into this method. So it's inside of the posts router. When someone creates a post, we basically need to go in our mutation. Once something's been created, we need to then basically over here, we need to send notification email, right? We're going to actually just queue it. But what we're going to do here is this is going to be create result, right? And it's going to be, do we need to await that? And then we're going to return create result. What's this saying? Async function. So we need this to be an async function. Let's make this async. All right. So we're going to just await that. And the reason is I don't want to return before I've queued this. Okay. So we need to await that, make sure it's all good. And then from there, we're going to queue. So how are we going to queue it? We're going to use our friend ingest again. And then we need to look at the docs and just see how we can actually schedule the event. So in the past, what we've done is we've used the cron job. So we do that every week on a Friday, and we send notification emails, and that's all ticking away sweet. But this one is a on-demand send an event. So let's look at that and see how we can do it. So from the previous jobs that we created, we had the send weekly digest email job. So this is going to be similar. So what we're going to do here is we'll create a new job here, and this will be send question notification job .ts. I'm going to call it send project question, so it's super clear. Send project question notification job. Okay. Now what we can do is we're going to go into the weekly one, and we're going to copy a lot of this stuff because it's going to be the same. So we do that, and then we also need to close that off. So I'm just checking how this all looks. So it closes there, and then there, that lines up there. All right, and then we're going to export default, but let's rename this. So this is going to be send project question notification job, right? So this will be here, will be send project question notification. Okay, and this is mailers. So it's project question. You could even say new project question email, yeah? Make it super clear. So let's have a look at that. All right, so I'm just going to jump into the docs again because we need to run our friend. Let's open up this one because we need to run ingest locally. So I'm just spooling that up. It's got a new CLI, cool. Just wait for that to run. Okay, so let's just open this up. Sweet. Let's see what it has. So what functions do we have? We need to register this function. That's why it's not showing up here. So I'm just going to set this up quickly. So we need to remember, so inside of our pages API, we had ingest, and this is where we register all our functions. So I'm just going to copy this name and go here. Okay, So we've now added this into the host. So now when do we need to refresh this server? There we go, here it is. Send project question notification, right? It's registered. So we can now use this. So that's the thing here. So we can send an event to that, right? We don't need that. And this will be for, what are we going to pass in here? We're going to pass in, what do we have when we create this new post? So we're going to have a post. All right, so we can probably work off that. We do probably need the project ID, right? Because it's a new project question. So we want, just for ease of use, so we're going to go project ID. And then we're also going to go, we might as well just go post ID just to keep this uniform. So let's jump into the DB. We can probably grab from Prisma Studio. So let's look for post. All right, so these are all posts about a specific project. So let's say we're just going to use this ID. And that's the project, that's the post ID, right? And then if we see, so that's the post and it's about the 23 Raptor. So if we go to post project, it's this project ID. Can I copy that, sir? Doesn't look like it's letting me. So what is the project ID is 1079. So let's just open that project. Project 1079. All right, so we're going to grab that. That's the project ID and that's the post ID. All right. Let's pull up this guy and see what we get when we send this event. I'm going to copy it here. So we have it and hit send. All right, what do we got? So you can see what we're currently doing is just posting the event and that, and we should also have a console log working on it. All right. So that means we're all wired up properly. Now we can actually do the work. All right, so I'm just going to save this. So how do we queue a job? So if we look at the cron does a send event, but we don't want it. We need to use ingest client to actually send an event. So here we go. So let's look at sending events. So we want to, so we've got the ingest client, which we can import, and then we just want to do ingest send. So that's pretty simple. So we're going to grab this, and we're going to import it at the top of the posts library here. And then down here, what we're going to say is ingest client dot send event. Is it send or send event? It's just send. CodePilot's trying to stitch us up. Send, and then we got the name. So the name will be this one, right? What's this saying? Data is missing, yes, we know that. So inside here, we're going to have project ID. So similar to what we're sending there, and then we're also going to have post ID, right? So that's going to be the create result. I'm going to call that post. And then this will be post.id. And this will be input dot project. Oh, it's related entities dot project ID. Let's see if we ever pull that out nicely. No, doesn't look like it. I wonder if we can be a bit clever here. Because remember, we don't want to send this for every post because this is a single post route. But what we can do is we can probably look at the post and then look at its related entities. And then from there, we can say, if this post type was a question, because we only want to send for questions, then let's queue the notification email, right? So what I'm going to do here is, do we have the post type? So this is what we're doing at the moment. So it's going to basically be post type ID. What we need to do here is also include a few things. So we want to include the post type, true. We also want to include the post projects. And then inside of that, we want to include the project, right? Because in this way, when we get this data back, we can now say post type dot key is equal to a question, right? So only if we have a question do we queue this job, right? Then what we also want to do is make sure that post projects first. Oh, look at that. It's even looking in the notifications enabled. This is slightly different to that column there because we want to send the question. So we will need a new one there, but let's do 0. So the first one. And then what we're going to say is project. So if a post has post projects that's been linked to a project and that project exists, then we're going to queue this. So then what we can say is, okay, the post ID we got, but then what we're going to say is the project ID will be post projects first dot project ID. Okay. And we theoretically we could actually just pass this whole thing through. So yeah, we can go from here. Like I think maybe for now is we'll just pass the IDs around because then on the other side we can go and actually make the request for all the data we need because we're going to need the project user and make sure that we have their email address and then we can get any other data we need to do or get. All right, so that should now queue our email. So for questions, and if we have a project, we're going to queue up this and send the event. All right. So that should schedule that for us now. Cool. All right. So how do we get data again? So data is equal to, wow. That's pretty cool, huh? Event data, because we know we need the project ID and we need the post ID. So let's see if we can get that. Project ID, post ID. Let's run that event again and see. Replay. Here we go. So we've got those two things now. All right, so I'm going to jump in here and just check how we need to grab data from Prisma. All right, so we are going to say here, what we want to do is we want to fetch project data. So it's going to be const project fetch project data is going to be async project find unique. Yep. And then we need to close that guy. And this is going to be where ID is project ID. And then we're going to want to include a few things. So we need to do, project users. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the projects here because we do this when we get a project ID, just so we don't have to do everything again. Probably get the project image again so we can copy that and the project users. We want the first user. So let's just do that. Right, so we're going to fetch the project images, the first one, okay? And then we're going to also fetch the first project user. But this one actually fetches all the project users. And it's going to grab the user image. So we can actually just do, for now, include user here. Project users, we're just going to take one. We don't need more than that. So let's just see what we're getting now. Let's do console. What we can actually do without console logging anymore, let's just return the project here. Okay, so now when we replay this event, what do we have? Here we go. Okay, so we can see the output. So we've got the project, model, project images, image file key, and the project user. And we've got their email and all the details. So we can now work with that. So that's great. So we get to fetch the project data. Let's also fetch the post data. I'm going to do that first. So it's going to be const post equals await. See if you can do this for me. There we go. Where ID, post ID, perfect. What do we need to include in a post to make it work? The post type, we know it's a question because it's a question email. What else do we need? Let's look at this. So if we go here, we want, so it's going to have the post body, which is this. That's really what we want at this stage, because this is the original post. When someone's making a question, they're making the post, so we can see that. And there will be no comments yet. So we really just need this. So we actually don't need to include anything, I don't think, at this. And it's not, you know what we can do? Let's include the post user. Do we have user? So a post belongs directly to a user. Let's just check that. User ID, yep. So what we want to do is include the user. We could actually include, what else do we have? Users images. Let's grab the user's images. Let's grab the first image of that user. All right. Because then that way we can actually use it and put a little photo and say, hey, this guy's asked this question. So now I'm also going to return the post. And also what I've just realized is when we run these steps, every step is returning its output anyway, so we don't actually log it. That's all of it together at the end. So let's replay. Let's see what we get. I'll move this here so we can all see. So what we can see now is in here, we have fetch project data. Here we go, fetch post data. So now we can see the user's images are there. There's the image that we need. And there's the body. Hi all, if anyone's interested in a sail plane, let me know. And what does this look like? Boom, that's the question body. Okay. Now, the fun part. We have to style an email. So let us run our friend here, which is npm run dev email. And that's going to run that for us. And then we can run and look at this. All right. So now we're going to run our email preview. So we currently only have the weekly digest email, which is really cool. But we need to build the post notification email. So let's get to it. So to create a new email template, where are we going? We're going into our mailers and then our templates. All right. So what this one's going to be is going to be called new project question email.tsx. Now I'm going to jump into this. You know me by now. I love to copy paste. So we are going to grab this. We are going to define some props. what do we need to do here? So this is the actual email. Shout outs to React Email, honestly. Done an amazing job at making this super easy. So chuck that there. Okay, so just rename everywhere. This is now new project question email. Now, what do we need in this? So the default project is cool. Do we need the model? Let's see, what does this other email look like? So this has just got the title of it, it's got a picture. We don't actually need that. The model we used for similar builds, so we don't need that. What else do we need? So we've got the project image URL, the user email, which we don't need either. Don't need any of these. Days and generation date we will use. All right, so let's set up our base here. So what do we got? You can see we probably need to do eventually as well. We need to start setting up this as a template. So we can refactor that out and reuse it. So you just inject the body. So I think what I'm going to do is that right now. So that's the date. So all of this here is generic. Right, so all of that stuff's generic. So let's create a mailer. And in here, I'm going to call it layouts. And we're going to have here, I'm just going to create a new one called default layout. All right. So let's just do component default layout. So now let's see, what do we need here? So we're going to grab all of this piece. Probably, do we need that section? No, because that might not be there. So we're going to grab all of this. Right. Now we need to just collapse this so we can see what else we need. So then the container, and then this is there and all the way down. Yep. So let's see. This is all good. Right, so this is the, I've pasted in the wrong spot. You goose. So this goes into the layout. Okay. Now, all of our content lives between this container. So it's underneath, directly underneath there. So you can see that's where our changeable content will come. So inside, just straight under the section, so basically here, this is where children go, right? I don't want you to do that though. So let's just const props, and we're gonna have children coming in here. I keep doing it on the wrong thing, like an absolute nongus. Here we go, children, there, and this is complaining because it wants all this. So let's grab this. Let's chuck it here. Okay, so generation date. So we'll need to supply that always. And what is this? It's just a string. I believe past generation date is a string, yeah. All right, will be the title. So we'll pass that in. This is also a string. All of these things are required. User email. So this can be, I think what we can do here is this is probably unique. So let's call this one footer content. And that'll be a React node again. Now what we're going to do here is footer content, and then we're going to say if footer content, So we only want to render this piece if there is actually footer content. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to chuck footer content like that. Okay. So now we've created a layout. We don't need this, don't need the button, don't need the link. Do we need the base URL? Yep. Default project we don't need. Okay, so now we have a default layout. So what we're going to do, let's import this. Let's go import default layout from there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap all of this here. And we're going to take all of this and chuck it in the bin. Don't repeat yourself. And this is just going to be new post. And then we need to just fix this up. Generation date, and we're going to do project and project email URL. What's this guy saying? Okay, so there's a few things we need to supply. So this will be, title will be new question. Let's see, let's just have a look at what we got before. Can't resolve, yep. All right, brother, you sweet. Is it mailers? No. Source. I mean, let's just be smart and just step back one. Mailers, that should work. Can't resolve. Okay, that's annoying. Where are you? Oh, it's not in, no, it's layouts. There we go. Gotcha. So weekly, so this will say new question. And then here it will write the what it is. Okay, so that's cool. So default layout wants that. Also, let's just go back here. Footer content is optional. Generation date will pass straight through. Yep, that's right. Cool, no more problems. Now we need to oh, there it is. There we go, okay? So now we are on. So we can now see we are getting our email without every time the layout just comes for free, all right? Because we built it, we took the time. So that's not showing the generation date because we're probably not passing the prop to it. So how did we do this last time? We had to default those props. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So we default all these things. And that way we can view it while we're building it. All right. What are you complaining about, mate? Yep, that's fine. Cool. All right. So we got our generation date showing, and now we got a new question. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to copy this section pretty much exactly. So let's pop that in here. Now that can come back a bit. What are we not? We don't want this text anymore. Cool. So that text is what we just deleted. Here we go. New question, 2023 Ford Raptor, next gen. Now, how do we want this to look? So it looks like this at the moment. So we could probably just write Ken Grief asked this. So I'm going to copy that, and this will be in here. We can have we could call it post body, right? So let's just set that up here, and that's a string. All right. So then we also need the. I'm wondering if we just pass the post in with the user. Maybe we just write post user here. Post user name equals post user image URL. That's what we need. So we need the name, image, and the post body. So let's just define these. Those are strings, and then post user image is a string as well. Okay, so this will be John Smith. And then we need a URL. So let's just grab this guy. Damn, it's got the old. Is it there? Let's see. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna need to grab that. So I can grab that. That comes from our components user image index. So this will be this is what we want here. So that'll be image URL. Sure. Let's just see what we're getting. Here we go. Cool. Who's that guy? Sick one. So let's use that. We can actually probably drop that down while we're here. Let's go height 100, width 100. Yep, so we're not wasting our bandwidth there. So that's the post user image URL. Okay. Sweet. So how does this look? Okay, let's create a new section, I reckon. With a margin top, and I'm just going to chuck the post body right here. I just want to see what this looks like. Okay, so we have a text, yep. So let's put that in there. Let's behave properly. All right, that's that. There we go, that looks nice, hi all. Then what we want to have in here, this is going to be an image again. So let's look at the default layout. So when we do an image, we do it like that. No, that's not this one. It's, where are you? Oh no, it's right in here. Here. So we want this, and we want this image will be smaller. So we're going to do 40 by 40, and this will be, the alt will be the username, post username. And this will be post user image URL. Let's see what that looks like. There it is. Okay, I reckon we can drop this a bit. Yep. So in line with this, how do we do that again? Container or a section? How do they render them? Let's see. Source. HTML, let's see. How do we know? That's a section is a table. And a container is a table as well. Okay, great. Okay, because what we need is Ken next to each other. Weekly digest, do we do have that? So in there, we do it with the likes. So we just did that in a text last time, which is a P tag. So let's try that. Let's see what this looks like. So I don't want the border. We also don't need a margin top on the user. Okay, and then next to it we want to have text, and here this will be the post user name. So it'll be like Ken asked. But that needs to be inside of that. So I don't know. That is inside. How do we do that? We just did it with a span. Okay. Let's just do spans here. Cool. And then what we're going to do here is also do a span on this one for there. And here we're going to do class name. And now we need our old friend Tailwind, and this will be bold. How do we do bold again? Bold. Tailwind, where are you, mate? Help me out. Let's go to our Tailwind cheat sheet. Done. All right. So what we want to look for is bold. Font bold. Yeah. Pretty smart. So font bold. Is that right? Font bold, man. Okay. Let's see. Boom. Okay. We also want to just do this. We want to go class name, and this is margin left 2. Boom. Okay. Cool. So what we can actually do now is this whole guide, we don't need padding or margin or border or rounder or rounded. Done. That's what we need. Okay. Sweet. Old mate's photo, name, asked. Boom. Question. Love that. Now, what we want to do is, that's the question, and then what we want to do is have a button. So after that, where is the button? So it's in a new section, and then we're going to have a button in here, and this is going to go view post, view question, and this will have an href to post/id, whatever. So let's see what that looks like. View question. That's looking really cool. But what I want to pass in is this as well. Just check with the default layouts, it is wrapped around text. So all we need to do is this. So that was footer. All right. Are you going to have a problem? Yep, you are. This is a span. I wonder if we should allow default layout to just, let's just do it. Let's remove, no. I'm just going to pass it in as a span. This email. Yep, that's cool. Let's see what that looks like. Whoopsie. User email. So we need to provide that. So this is the user we're sending this to. Okay. Sweet. Sick one. Okay. New question for this one. John Smith asked, bang, and you're going to hit this. So where does the question go? You need to go to here. So what does that look like? So we should have here, we need the slug. And that's cool. You almost nailed that there. So we are going to put that in here. So it goes This will be project slug. Questions, and this will be the post ID. I mean, we could even just pass that in. I'm just going to pass it in as this one. Bang. Bang. All right, where are you? Down the bottom. Post ID. So let's look what that looks like now. View question. Let's look at the thing. 2023 Next Raptor. So what I'm going to do though is I am going to copy this slug, just so it takes us to a real page. Okay. Now if I hit view question, bang, ready for the person to answer. So that's looking really cool. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's looking all really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up now. Just remove all the unused things because we're now pulling them in from the... Wait, do we need tail? No, Tailwind's wrapping the whole thing, so that's awesome. Great. Okay, cool. Now, we need the mailer. So, let's set that up. So we're going to go mailer, new file, new project, question, mailer.tsx. Okay. Sweet, so what do we need to do? Let's do this. We need to export the generate. Then we also, last time we looked at the send email function. So I'm going to pull that out into a util. Right? So we're going to create that as a send email function here, because we're going to reuse this, and this, you can see this is super generic. All right. All right, so we're just going to set up the send email function. Hey, that's not right. Okay, and we're going to export default send email. We need send grid. So we don't have to keep setting all these keys every time. And we're going to import send grid. Process, that's cool. That's just saying if it's not set. Get rid of that error. So we're always sending from here. That's all good. Okay, that's cool. So that's our send email. So now we can just import that. So we're going to import, what else do we need first? Let's just grab all this. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. All right, weekly digest. So this is not the weekly digest email anymore. It is the new project question email. So that's in templates. Just going to grab that and make sure it's exactly the same. We don't need 7 days ago because we're not doing that anymore. This is here. New project question mailer. New project question mailer. What do we need in here? We need a post. I think we're going to get the post ID, I believe, but let's just do this for now. Cool, so this function's good. Let's import it. So we're going to import send email. That's the one. Gone, don't need you anymore. Thanks for helping. So now we need to export this function called generate email. All right, so that's the function we want to use here. And This takes in these. All right, and this is the function that's in charge of generating our email. Sweet, so let's grab this. The post and the project are the params. We also got a problem here. Oh yeah, we don't need that. Cool. So project, that's the similar. So this is quite a different email because this needs a lot of data, the old one. Created that. Project image file key, project image URL. So we need to find that. We need the user email, so we do need that. Okay. And then our HTML is our render. So this will be this one. And then what props do we need? These ones. Okay, so generation date we have. We need the project. Don't need this, don't need this. Don't need that, don't need that, need that. Okay, so we got user email, got project, yep, got project. We need the post data, and we've got the generation date. So this is all nonce for now, so I'm just gonna do that. Now, where's the generation date coming from? Is here. So that's the current date. Sweet, so we got this one. And then we need the created date, which is created at. Wait, no. Generation date is the current date, sorry. Not this one. Yep, that's cool, bro. So we need it to see now. So where do we call this from? The weekly digest mailer. So that gets called from our job. Right, so let's generate the auth token, generate the email HTML. And then we're passing it through. And then we're sending the email. All right, cool. So we're gonna grab that. And that's gonna live in here, in the email job. So we fetch the project. Now here, we're gonna generate the email. So we need to get that. And this is not from the weekly digest mailer. This lives inside of the new project question mailer. Now the send email doesn't come from there anymore. So let's just save this. So we need to import the send email function. Now I just want to double check because I feel like I imported here accidentally. Yep. So let's just import this. Cool. So fetching the post data, we're fetching the project data, which has got all our includes. So we're going to pass in the post and the project to that. Generate email HTML. All right. And then there we go. We got the HTML. I'm just double checking. Then we're going to send the email. So let's not do that yet. I'll get rid of that. And the post. Okay, what are you saying here? Yep, so this is looking for a different type. So it's not the plain post. So we need to go and find our post. We've done this recently. Where are you in the page? So it's prisma.post type. Post with comments, here we go. So it's this. So it's post with includes. And that's come from Prisma, so we need the type here. Okay, so what are the includes? Don't need you anymore. So it's this. And close off that, just get my workspace a bit here. So we go in like this. That's what that is. That goes there. Now we should see, what are you saying? The null. Type null. Where are you getting null from? It could be null. Because it could, so this could return or not. That's basically what's happening. That's cool, whatever, bro. We got this. All right, so this is also going to be a project with includes now. On there. What's this? Go away. And that's going to be that. All right, so we expect a post with includes and a project with includes. Okay. So this will just now be project.project images. All right. Great. That's that. The post is just equal to the post. Project image URL. That could be null again. The user email is also could be null. Okay, sweet. So we've got that. Now we need the post body. So we're actually not using, are we using post in here? No. So we don't actually need this one. So this would be post.body, and it's not a colon. Post ID. Yep. Sure. And then post username. This isn't right, unfortunately. I'm just going to do this. Just to tell it to be quiet. So we need to go and fetch this. This is the project image, and we need the post. So this will be the post user image. So we post dot user. Let's just see if this can help me here. Post user images image file key. Yep. And then this goes here. And then this becomes this one. Or string. All right. How's that? Sweet. That looks like we have all the inputs we need. We don't need this type. We don't need this. We don't have to fetch any data because we're passing it straight through, which is actually nicer. Generate email. Project user. All right, let's have a look what happens. So we can replay this event now. let's see. So we got the post, got the project, ran the email. So let's see, where are you? Here you are. Oof. Let's see what it looks like. So we need to take all of these guys. Cool. New question. Forward range and next gen. Looks like it's all good. Sweet. Okay, and then we just need to send this email. Now the one thing that I have noticed is we should only send this if there is a project email. Project user email. So what I'm going to do is in this mailer now, because we're getting crashes in production, we're going to just say if no email, just return. What are we expecting on this side? It is a, yes, that's. What if we can do status error? Yeah, mate, there we go. Error. I'm going to follow my convention. Success false. Message, no email address provided. Sweet as. All right, project user email, HTML, and then the subject will be new question. Okay. And that should get us going. Don't need this anymore. Okay. So what have we achieved here? So inside of the router, when you create a post in this create post method, we now queue a notification email if the post type key is question. And then if the post projects it's been linked to a project, we queue the new project question email and we pass through the project ID and the post ID. All right, so that's the first step. From there, that hits our job, which is the send project question, which lines up to this. We've fetched our data using the project and post IDs that we've been sent. Okay, we fetch the post, we fetch the project, then we generate the email. Our email looks like this, right? So we say new question for your project. John Smith asked, hi, or blah, and you can hit view question. And you jump straight into the website. Then we send the email. So I'm going to chuck that in there. And we just queue that in and send it away. And that hits our mailer, which uses our template there. And that's it. Away we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you.